Hello, sixth graders. Mr. Morrow here. Just wanted to say hello again. And part of the time that we're going to be spending in our class this week, whether you're in person here for the first 2 days or the second 2 days, or if you're remote only, I wanted to say hello. This is particularly for the remote only students. I won't be able to see you live, person to person, via our screen this week. So I wanted to record a video and talk to you about exactly what we're going to be talking about in class. And that is to get to know your Chromebook. As you know, at IRE, you're going to be receiving your very own Chromebook. And it's an exciting time to have this one awesome device just to be yours, be responsible for it. You can do most things with it. But I wanted to give you a few hints and tips and tricks and hacks to make your time with your Chromebook easier. So with that, let's begin. The first thing is that we'll be using Google pretty heavily. And, I'm sure you're familiar with what Google is. But one of the components or parts of Google that we'll be using is email. And I don't believe that in elementary school that's something that you used very often. So what I want you to do is become comfortable with that. And your login is probably something you're also familiar with, but just in case you're not, is the first letter of your first name, your entire last name, and the last 2 digits of your graduation year. So if I were a 6th grader, my login would be mmorrow27, because you'll be graduating in 2027, and then your email address would really be mmorrow27@eastpennsd.org, but we'll get into that a little bit later in the first week of science. Your password is the same, and if it's been a long time since you've been in school, don't sweat it. We've got ways to look up your password, so I don't want you to worry about that. And you'll know that you're signed in when you look in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, and it should have a picture, your picture there, or at the very least, it'll have your name. So we'll go over all that, and you'll become more comfortable with logging into Google as we move on through the year. The second thing we'll be using is through the IRE Middle School website, and that is called Schoology. And Schoology is a way for us to deliver information to you, everything from assignments to announcements to tests or quizzes. We'll be able to kind of correspond or discuss things with each other. You'll be able to check your grades through that. And it's also how we'll communicate with your parents too. So, when we're not on the phone. And so we want you to log into Schoology, and we want you to bookmark that in your internet browser. You do that by going to the top of the internet browser, just like this. And you can see all of my tabs up here. My apologies, I've got a lot going on here. And you can just hit bookmark this tab, and hit that star, and you can type in Schoology, perfect, and then hit done, boop, and you'll see, now I'm not going to do that because I already have it twice, but you'll see that I have things bookmarked up here, and one of them is already Schoology, and it'll show up there, and that way you won't have to type in your the website or the URL or all those numbers and letters into this browser bar each time. You can just click on this. Okay, back to the presentation. Let's see, are we here? Perfect. Okay. Nope, we don't want to share. I'm hitting the wrong buttons here. Okay, this is what we do. Boop. What is happening? There it is. Okay, thanks for your patience. Okay, IRE Middle School website. So we talked about Schoology. One of the things that you'll become more familiar with as we go into the year is adding something called extensions to your Chromebook. And extensions are kind of like if you have a phone or your parents have an iPhone maybe, the apps that you download, maybe it's Google Maps, or maybe it's Venmo, or maybe it's Candy Crush. But they're all apps that you can download to your phone. Well, apps are kind of like extensions. And there are some educational extensions that we'll be using that will be helpful to you. And so you've got the instructions here. You can open the Chrome Web Store, which, by the way, looks like this, right? Let's see, we're going to open up a new tab, and that looks like that up here, where it says apps. So it actually uses the word app there, which is helpful. Okay, let's see here, present, boop. Okay, so you're going to click that, and you're going to select the extension you want. I'd like you to add DGO and one called Cami. Now, these are free extensions. They're right there waiting for you if you search for them in the App Store. As always, if you ever have any questions or problems, I can FaceTime you, or we can set up a Zoom, or we can do it over email, and I can answer any questions you have about this. But when you click Add to Chrome, those extensions will show up at the top of your screen each time that you are using your computer or the browser, Chrome. And so you want to make sure that they're there. And you'll be using them in Mrs. Connect's class, in library. Mrs. Swager's class will also use them. And if you have any problems, we're glad to answer any questions you have about downloading those. Okay. Okay. So the next one I want to talk to you about is Chromebook hacks. There are a few things that I think will make your life easier this year, and there's a good chance you may already know how to use them. But just in case you don't, and you don't need to memorize these, by the way, but just in case you don't know them already, I wanted to share them with you, and hopefully they'll be useful to you. So the first one is screenshot. How to make a screenshot or take a screenshot of what you're doing. Now, we're not going to be in class the way we normally would. So I might say in a traditional class, well, I want you to write something down and then show it or illustrate it in some way, and then you'd show it. But you're at your house and I'm going to be here. And so one of the ways that we can accomplish that, or you can demonstrate to me or show me what you've done, is to take a screenshot of what you've done in your computer. And so that's done by hitting Control plus the Show Windows key. You might be saying, what is the Show Windows key? Well, I'm about to show you here. So what will happen is it looks like this key right here, and it will be on every one of your Chromebooks. And so that'll be a useful key. So once you hit that, it'll give you choices. And so what will happen is you'll have like a little crosshair that shows up. And let's say you wanted to take a picture of this, I don't know, this cool shape. You would take it and the crosshair, you'd click on it and highlight it, and then it would take a picture of it. You'd actually hear the sound like a camera, like an old school camera. And it'll save that picture for you. So that'll be useful for you to have that information. Also, we're going to be taking a lot of pictures of different things, particularly in science, hopefully. And one of the ways to do that is to use the camera. You actually have a camera on your Chromebook. And so what we want you to do is learn how to become comfortable with that. So what I'm going to do is show you how that works. What we're going to do here is we're going to go whoop. Okay. And this is how you would look for that. Okay, every computer you have has one of these search bars, and in the Chromebook, it's more it's much easier to find. I'm working on a Mac today, but you would just find your magnifying glass. I'm sorry, and you would type in camera. Now, the camera here is different on the Mac than it is going to be on your Chromebook. So your camera would show up, and what you would do is you would just click on it. Now, the key to being a good, photographer is to use the camera for good and not evil. So you want to make sure that you're taking responsible pictures and using it in a way that is responsible, like a sixth grader would. One of the last things I want to talk to you about is customization. And that's a really fancy word for making something your own. And when you make something your own, it makes it kind of more personal to you. And I understand that people do it with cars. They put bumper stickers, or they paint their cars. They do it by dressing a certain way. And when you receive this Chromebook, there's a draw or you're tempted to kind of put stickers on it or make it look like yours. I want to urge you to not do that. The Chromebook actually, even though it's going to feel like it belongs to you, it actually doesn't. It belongs to the district. And so I want you to treat it as though ultimately it's somebody else's property that you're borrowing for a really long time. And eventually you're going to have to turn that back. And I don't want to have that awkward conversation about why there's a huge sticker or stickers or some sort of other funky device that you put on there. And so I want you to make you aware of that and just kind of warn you a little bit about that. Another fun fact, we've got a program called Hara, which while you're in the school, we're able to see exactly what you're doing on your computer. Not while you're at home, but while you're here. And so I just kind of feels like maybe that's an important thing to note because when students do arrive here, I think for a more traditional learning environment, we'll be able to kind of make sure that you're focused and not playing games on your computer. And like I said before, remember your new Chromebook belongs to the district, so make sure you act responsibly and take care of it. And as a result, if we have time at the end of our class, we'll be engaging in a bit of a Kahoot, which I'm sure you're familiar with. If you're not, Kahoot is like a game show where you're tested and you have to answer questions about some of the information that was shared with you before. So anyway, that's the last slide. I wanted to say thanks for logging in. Thanks for your attention on this. I'm sure you already know how to treat a computer, but it felt like something that we needed to share with you, at least to go over the basics with you. As always, we're always here to share and help you. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to drop me a line. You can email me. We can set up a Zoom if you prefer a face-to-face. And I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Okay, we will turn this off. Boop. Okay, see you.